Hi, welcome back to another Mia's Bookshelf video. This week I'm testing a new microphone system. So we will see if this works. This week, as you can tell, we are doing a Get to Know Me Q&A. I recently realized that I've never actually done one of these, and I've been on YouTube for a year. So consider this my 1-year YouTube post. Actually, wait, I think it might be a year today, hold on. But I asked on my Instagram for some questions. So if you don't follow me over there, it is just the same as it is here at Mia's Bookshelf. And I post a lot of reels, and I'm slowly transitioning into writing content. So that's pretty cool, so focusing more on writing. Also, I just recently realized there are ads on my page. I don't get paid for those ads. January 18th, so not quite. It's also 11:30 at night, and I thought this would be fun to do while I'm slightly slap happy. So we'll just see how this goes. I also won't be sharing anyone's names who replied, but I think most of the people who replied I know, or like interact with a lot. So thank you all for leaving your questions. The first question is my favorite Taylor Swift album currently. I just always go back to Folklore and Evermore when I do listen to Taylor Swift, just because I really love all those songs. And as much as I do enjoy Taylor Swift's music, so many of her songs are about breakups or relationships, and that's not necessarily the case with those two albums, and so I really enjoy them because they're so different from her other music. The next question is your favorite childhood book series. This is really hard. If we're going childhood, I would have to say either Anne of Green Gables. I think Anne of Green Gables is my all-time favorite series, but for a while it was really tied with Narnia and Little House on the Prairie. I learned to read at a really young age, and so Little House on the Prairie was one of the first book series I read by myself. We started out as a read aloud, and then at that point I knew how to read, and I got bored because my mom wasn't reading it fast enough, so I secretly read like half the series on my own before she found out, which is the theme, by the way. And later we got Anne of Green Gables and their Chronicles of Narnia's audiobooks, and I just had those on repeat. We would listen to them in the car, at home on the CD player, just like all the time. I was always listening to Anne of Green Gables or Narnia, or The Secret Garden, actually, for a solid year or two there. It was just those two series on repeat. So I would probably have to say Anne of Green Gables or Narnia. And then like once I got into middle school is when I started reading Harry Potter. I think I first read it in 5th grade? I think it was 5th grade, because I remember talking about it with one of my friends right before I moved. And she was complaining that I hadn't read the second book yet. So I was in 5th grade when I first read Harry Potter. So that's not necessarily a childhood book, but it is one of my favorites. My favorite sibling. This one came to me from my sister. I love all my siblings in different ways, and I know, did I just say sisters? Siblings. I have a brother too. I'm not excluding my brother. I love all my siblings differently. I think Lily, the one I'm closest to because she and I are the closest in age. And then Ezra, I haven't really quite figured out our relationship yet. And then Audrey's 11, so she's just really young, but she already seems like she's gonna be the coolest of all of us, and she's the most social and everything, so she'll be fun to see. This lighting is awful. I think Lily is my favorite just because we're so close, but I don't necessarily love any of my siblings any less. What am I reading right now? I'm supposed to be reading The Inheritance Cycle for my roommate at college. One of my roommates. Future roommates. We're not actually roommates yet. Anyway, so I'm supposed to be reading that for her, but I kind of didn't read any of that over break. But right now I'm reading Plato's Republic for my classics program at my college. But I really need to finish that before I go back to school. Have you ever finished a book? I'm going to assume this means writing a book, and no. I got really close with a project in middle school, but I never finished that, and so, but the book I'm working on right now, I'm planning on getting published, so that should be finished soon. And then my short story, I'm also planning on publishing, and I'm so close to being done with that. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I've also been saying that for months, so. And then the next question is, I feel like you get asked this a lot, but how did you meet Brie? So Brie and I met doing theater. Actually, one of my first YouTube videos, we have a little Zoom call. We talk about how we met in that, but we met at theater and just like got close instantly. I don't really know why. We just kind of like clicked. And then in like 2022, we hung out a lot for the session of one of our shows. And so that just really solidified our friendship because we went through a lot of like canon events that week. Like the Art Tech week. And so if we ever stopped being friends, that would be really unfortunate for both of us because we both know way too much. That is a threat, Brie. My aesthetic label, I would say, sorry, Brie's texting me. I would say dark academia. I typically dress in like sweaters and pants and stuff. And anyway, she was finding old Instagram videos, so I would say dark academia just because like I love learning and stuff, and I also love like just dressing in the aesthetic, and slowly all of my outfits have turned dark academia. What era would you like to live in? Ooh, this is good. I think if I had to pick any era, it would be the 1950s. There was just such a surge in like the culture and everything. and I think it would have been a really interesting time to live through. I think there's obviously challenges to every era, but I personally would like to live in the 50s. Controversial opinion. That one's from Brie. I should have thought about this. Okay. My controversial opinion that I recently got in a fight with someone about, sort of, was that I don't like Severus Snape. Now, this shocks people, but my thing is that everyone's like, oh, but Snape loved Lily, that's why he did everything. He did everything for Lily. Yes, that is true. But I think he was more obsessed with Lily than he actually loved her. Because she was the only person that loved him in a, you know, childhood way, like as friends. And I think he really latched onto that and was just never able to let it go. And he convinced himself that it was romantic love. And I don't necessarily think that was the case. And because, so Patronuses, like if you have matching Patronuses, right, they're supposed to be complementary, not identical. And Snape physically changed his Patronus to be identical with Lily's, versus Lily and James were a doe and a stag, and they complement each other. And I think that shows Snape's level of obsession, and so I don't think that justifies what he did, because even if he did love Lily, he was supposed to take care of Harry. And there's a whole thing with Quirrell, which he did, but he didn't have to abuse Harry or Neville. And the idea that he resented an 11-year-old because he didn't end up being the chosen one is just really silly to me. Anyway, and no, people say, oh, so you don't like Snape, that must mean you love Dumbledore. No, I don't like Dumbledore either. He wasn't a great guy either. But I think the benefit of reading Harry Potter is that so many of the characters are decently well developed, and so they're not perfect people, and so we shouldn't expect them to be, and we shouldn't let that erase all of their faults or all of their good parts. There are good parts to Snape. He did help Harry. There are good parts to Dumbledore. But that doesn't make them heroes either. And the fact that Harry named Albus Severus. Anyway. Comfort food. Lasagna. Next question. 2024 goals. Okay. So one of my goals, hold on, I wrote them down. Alright. Recently, I started playing the guitar. This is my sister's guitar. Shout out to Lily. So keep up reading the guitar. I would also love to read not half the Bible, but a good chunk. I want to take my time reading it this year. So right now I'm working through the Psalms and Ephesians. And next up I'm going to reread Hebrews, and then from the Old Testament, I haven't decided what I'm going to read yet. I'm thinking probably Job, because I've never spent much time in that book. Or Isaiah. And then I'm on the quest to become like Little Women. So I'm going to learn how to make bread and also how to make jelly and like preserve stuff, because I think that would be cool. And then another goal of mine is to talk about my faith more, especially online. So I need to make it a priority to talk about my faith more. And Brie has really inspired me in this, because she's been sharing with me a lot of the cool conversations that she's been having with people. And she just recently did a podcast episode about her testimony. So you should go check out her podcast, Brie's Random Things. Hold on, I have to text her back. And then also to memorize more scripture. But reading wise, I want to read. Okay, here's some books on my TBR actually. Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I've only ever read Jane Eyre, but I love Jane Eyre. I started Villette back in October, and I'm really loving it so far. Then The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I started this one forever ago. I borrowed it from a friend in high school, and I never finished it. And then Adorning the Dark by Andrew Peterson. I started this book, and then it got lost on a road trip, and so I never finished it. And then The Fantasy Fiction Formula, which I've started, is really good. You can see I've only read a few chapters, but I've already annotated a lot, and that so far has really helped me shape my story in just the few chapters that I've read. And so I can't wait to finish reading that one. And then besides that, I need to finish Mere Christianity. And then I also need to finish Northanger Abbey and Return of the King. One of my other goals is to also finish both of my first drafts. So that is very ambitious, but I'm currently working on finishing my short story. It's called Candlelight Crimes. It's a historical fiction murder mystery with just a subplot of romance. But I would love to self-publish that as an ebook, because it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a full novel length. So I would love to have that be a ebook, just to get some of my writing out in the world. And then social media wise, I would love to reach 2,000 followers. That's kind of ambitious on Instagram, but I think we can do it, especially as I'm like trying to narrow down what I make content about. I think that will help people know whether to follow me or not, and hopefully that'll attract some new people. And then also on YouTube, I would just like to be consistent, honestly. I don't have any Pinterest goals because I forget that my Pinterest account exists. How long have you been on Instagram? I have had my Mia's Bookshelf for 2.5 years. Or not quite 2.5 years. I started in November of 2021, during my senior year of high school. And now we're here, which is pretty cool. How many siblings do you have / where are you in the family? I have 3 siblings, so I'm the oldest of 4. So it's me, and then my younger sister, and then my younger brother, and then my littlest sister. But yeah, I'm the oldest child. I feel like that's obvious. Book you would burn. Honestly, I don't support book burning. ACOTAR. Favorite place to travel / travel bucket list. I love Italy. It is my favorite place. I specifically love Florence. I don't know why. People always ask me, Mia, you talk about Florence all the time. You were only there for 5 days. Why do you love it so much? I don't know. Just something about the city stuck with me, and I think about it daily. Travel bucket list. We were actually talking about this at dinner tonight. I think going to Japan would be really fun. As well as like Southeast Asia. I think Thailand sounds really cool. I would love to go to Australia, Antarctica. I just want to go to all 7 continents. Greenland would be cool. I think that should be its own continent, which it's not. But anyways, that's beside the point. South America. Just anywhere in the world. I love to travel. How old are you? I am 19. I'm almost 20, which is crazy. But so that is all the questions. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed and got to know me a little more. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments. But I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.